Is it possible to recapture the magic of Leslie Nielsen and those early Naked Gun movies? That's what this film attempts to do. But does it achieve that? We're going to find out. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my review for The Naked Gun. The film comes as directed by Akiva Schaffer, who, to be honest, I'm not really familiar with any of his work beyond Andy Samberg's Pop Star. It's written by Akiva Schaffer as well, along with Dan Gregor and Doug Mann. The film has a swift runtime of 85 minutes, much akin to those original Naked Gun movies. I'm going to try and not do comparisons to those because here we are 30 odd years later with a movie that clearly isn't made for the audience of the older Naked Gun movies. Like I said, Liam Neeson is front and centre as Frank Drebin. His sidekick, Ed Jr., is played by Paul Walter Hauser, who you may primarily know from Cobra Kai, plus some other bits and pieces. He was recently in the new Fantastic Four movie as well. Danny Huston plays the film's villain, Richard Kane, and you have Pamela Anderson as Beth Davenport, who's involved in, by way of her brother, being involved in the goings-on. He's a victim, and yeah, that's about it, really. You know, there's a few other faces in it you may recognise. Plot-wise, does the plot really matter about this movie? Because it's much akin to previous Naked Gun movies, especially the very first one. It kind of does the same plot as that in a sense. There's a device that is linked to all mobile phones and this sort of a thing that the bad guy's got, that he wants to set off and basically make everyone go a bit crazy and fight each other, and do you know what I mean? And so it's not dissimilar to that very first film, and even the ending of the film is set in a sports arena, or much akin, you know, yeah, and as the first film is, do you know what I mean? So plot wise it's pretty much the same, but does it work? Do the jokes land? This is the problem where this film kind of hits or misses, and that's the thing, because, you know, for every joke that does land, there's a joke that doesn't. I think the hit ratio between this and the older Naked Guns, this is more akin to the Naked Gun sequels rather than the first Naked Gun film, where pretty much everything lands, but when you got into the later ones, they didn't land as much. Leslie Nielsen is fine. He's great. He does the deadpan thing. He does the Liam Neeson deadpan. Not quite as good as Liam Neeson, I will say, but he does it. But he's got the action and acting chops as well to go along with it. Pamela Anderson, adequate, you know, can't complain about her. And Danny Huston, yeah, he's fine as the villain, film's villain, you know, throwaway villain, forgettable, that sort of a thing. But there we go. So, you know, like I said, the film isn't really made for us of my age, people of my age. It's made for a younger generation of viewer. Yeah, the film opens, it does, I'll talk about the opening of the film. So it opens with what we've seen in the trailer, and I'm talking about the bank robbery and the little girl coming in and the mask reveal. It's Frank Drebin, this sort of a thing. There's jokes to be had for sure, and this sets off the events of the movie and that sort of a thing. Yeah, it's a funny one because, you know, humour is very subjective, isn't it? You know, a joke that works for one person won't work for another. I do think that the film is great in that it's kind of stayed away from any kind of agenda-driven messaging and that sort of thing that you get in a lot of movies today. It tries to do exactly what it wants to do. I do think that it's a shame that they neglected to use the original score, you know, the original main police squad theme, the Naked Gun theme with the car rooftop and the light and that opening. I was really hoping for a modern updated version of that, and we didn't get it, you know. But yeah, it's an okay film. It steps into some really absurd, stupid territory, especially towards the end, but this is Naked Gun. You know, this is its bread and butter, absurd, stupid territory. But here we go that little bit further with it. Now, producing-wise, I know that Seth MacFarlane is involved in this movie. Now, for me, Seth MacFarlane is very hit and miss with his humour. As much as I love Family Guy, I really do, especially its heyday, and I love the Orville and stuff like that. Yeah, some of his humour hits or misses, and you can tell that his fingerprints are on this at times. There are jokes that in this that I've seen that are taken directly out of Family Guy TV show, and primarily I'm talking about the bit where he's thinking of a name to give for Beth Davenport, and he looks around the room and just picks things. It was far better in Family Guy when it was done. So yeah, this is a film that, although good, although enjoyable, doesn't bore. Some of the jokes land, some of the jokes don't land. You've got a great performance like Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson. Leslie Nielsen's on the brain. Their names are so similar. Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson. Who else could take on this role? You know, he's perfect. He's pitch perfect all the way through. I think the film does want to take itself a little bit seriously in the kind of score department and things that are going on like that, which kind of don't really work with the themes and the you know, the feeling that the film wants to give you. But overall, yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. You know, you can go, you can see it. There's laughs to be had. It's all right. You know, what more can I say from that? It wasn't, you know, spit my food out funny, or, you know, like that first film was for me back in the day. But it may be to that younger audience.